Hello and happy Wednesday. Today on the Busy Bride podcast, I'm coming to you solo with a couple unique ways you and your wedding party can enter your reception. I have tips for both extroverts and introverts, so do not click away if being the center of attention isn't your thing. Let's get into it.
Hello and welcome to the Busy Bride podcast. I'm your host, Gabriella Marie, and I created this podcast to help you research vendors and learn valuable advice as you plan the most special and true to you wedding day of your dreams. Let's get started.
Wedding receptions are so much fun because the quote unquote hard part of the day is over for, everyone except the DJ and the catering company. But for you and for your guests, it is time to celebrate the marriage, which is freaking awesome. And every couple celebrates differently, every guest list celebrates differently, but there are a few ways you can spice up the beginning of your reception to set the tone for the rest of the night. So, whether you want to bring all of the energy or have a more low key celebration, here are 6 fun ways to enter your reception, plus one first dance tip at the very end of the episode. So, keep listening. Suggestion number 1: introduce your wedding party 2 by 2 with detailed intros. So, this is for if you want your wedding party to enter the reception in pairs, the way they walked up and down the aisle for your wedding ceremony. Some weddings nowadays will have all of the bridesmaids enter together, all the groomsmen enter together, or sometimes like the whole entire wedding party for both sides of the couple enter together. And some weddings now don't even have wedding parties. But if you have a wedding party and you love the idea of having them enter and be introduced like that, 2 by 2, and then they can do a little fun dance move or photo op thing that they do. If you like that, then this tip is for you. If you were to plan ahead and write short but thought out, detailed introductions for the DJ to read when introducing them and then not telling them, that would be so fun. The guests would love it, and hopefully the wedding party would love it too. Um, Include like things that the person themselves loves to talk about or has like it's like a funny attribute or a well-known attribute of that person. So here's what I mean. I feel like an example would be the best way to describe this. For like the maid of honor, you could do introducing the bride's childhood friend who is best known for her undeniable karaoke skills and for adopting stray cats without consulting anyone beforehand. The maid of honor, Caroline. Something that like they love about themselves, like this fake person named Caroline, I guess, loves cats and then has adopted cats beforehand and surprised people. So like that could be something that everybody who knows that person would be like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. And it's not poking fun at the person really. It's just like this is something that everybody knows about it, and that's said in a funny way. Um, and then I've also seen it like more athlete style introductions with stats. And let's have an example of this. Like for the best man, coming in at 6'2" and claiming to be Penn State's biggest super fan, the best man, Connor. Something like that, where it's like a funny quirk about them or like something that everybody knows about that person, um, instead of just like the best man, Connor. You know what I mean? Like there's a difference there. So if that's something you think your wedding party would love, definitely consider doing that for your wedding party entrances. And bonus points if you are able to surprise the wedding party. You could like ask your wedding party members too, like what's like a fun fact about you, and then use that. But you know your wedding party, so you can come up with the fun facts. Okay, on to the second suggestion. You could encourage your wedding party to bring props for their entrances. I would also tread cautiously with this one. If your wedding party, like if you think they would love this, definitely go for it. This is not for the wedding party who's a little bit more on like the introverted side or who like doesn't want to do anything crazy. But if your wedding party is like, let's party, then this is for you. I have seen like, anything from sunglasses to a football to a wrestling belt like this. It was actually a husband wife entering together but as the pair, and they had a wrestling belt because the husband was a wrestling fan, and so the wife like did a wrestling move on him and pinned him and then like held up the belt. Something that like the crowd went crazy for that. So that was really funny and really cool. But they knew in advance to bring something like that. So this requires your wedding party being prepped in advance. But again, only if they would love this. Like if they don't want to do this, then that's okay. But if they would, then go for it. Okay. Suggestion number 3. This is for you, the couple. Enter with an energetic dance before your romantic first dance. So if you are like, yes, we want like the funny, like high energy entrances for the wedding party, we want our wedding reception to be so much fun, then you can kick it off with like an energetic first dance before your true romantic first dance. This is like your entrance dance, I guess, not your first dance. So this could be something that you and your partner do together, like a fun dance to, oh, what's the song? Um, Footloose. Footloose. This could be like a like Footloose is your song to enter to, and they do like a little Footloose dance together, get the crowd all riled up before moving into your romantic first dance. Or this could be something where you do a group dance set before your first dance together, like one on one. I've seen couples do that as well, where they enter the reception, they start jumping around. The wedding party's there waiting for them. They start jumping around, and then they kind of wave everybody else onto the dance floor. The DJ calls everybody else onto the dance floor, and they play like 3 or 4 songs, and everybody just kind of rages for a little bit. So if that's your vibe, then that's something you can do as well. And then, I guess once people start to sit down, salads are plated, then you can do your first dance. So many options there. But if high energy is your vibe, that's a cool option for you. Suggestion number 4, calling all introverts for this one. If this episode so far has made you cringe with having all the eyes on you, then this next suggestion is way more up your alley. If you and your partner do not like to be the center of attention, then you can still have your first dance, but you can do it with the rest of your guests. So, when you enter the reception, the DJ can call everyone onto the dance floor for whichever song you want your first dance to be, and then you can slow dance with your spouse alongside all of your favorite people. That way, you still get to have your first dance, but everyone will be focusing on the person that they're dancing with instead of focusing on you. I had a couple do this last fall, and they loved how it turned out. They honestly did a great job of making their wedding true to them because they were very much introverts. They did not like being the center of attention, and they did a couple things throughout the day that really played onto that and like played onto their strengths there. And it ended up being a really cool moment dancing, having their first dance be with all of their loved ones. So that's a really cool tip if everything else so far has been like, no thanks. Okay. The fifth suggestion is to learn a choreographed dance, but make it a surprise. I just had a couple take dance lessons and they learned a choreographed dance for their first dance to surprise their guests. And I am not kidding when I say it might have been the loudest crowd I've ever heard at a wedding reception. They didn't tell anyone except me that they were doing this since I was their photographer. And the cheers from the guests were awesome when they started whipping out all these really cool moves. And they crushed it. They smashed the routine out of the park. And one of my favorite photos of the whole day is both of the brides fist pumping the air in celebration after they finished the dance like choreographed perfectly. They were just like, let's go. And they were so excited celebrating, and the crowd was roaring in cheers, and it was such a cool moment. So if you do want to learn a choreographed dance, maybe don't tell anybody and see how they react. Okay, and the sixth and final suggestion is if learning and remembering a whole entire dance feels like too much for you or your partner, for both of you, but you still want to surprise your guests or wow your guests, then why not just learn 1 or 2 moves to incorporate into a regular slow dance? There's this account on Instagram. I'll link it below in the show notes. I think it's called Your First Dance, that teaches different single dance moves that you can incorporate into lots of different dances. So these are things like spins and dips, even lifts that vary in difficulty, and oftentimes they're not as hard as they seem. And they all look super duper cool. So this could be cool if your first dance song has like the chorus is more empowering than the verses, and you want to do like a cool spin move into a dip, or like it ends in a crescendo and you want to do like a cool ending move. Um, like anything to just kind of spice up the regular slow dance. So this is cool too because then you don't have to remember anything to do like during the main words of the song. So if it's a song that you and your partner really love and really find meaning in, then you can still slow dance together and like soak in the moment, soak in the words. But then when it comes time to do like the move, then you can do that together and your guests will still be like, "Oh my gosh," and you still get a cool photo of it and you still feel really cool doing it. So, that is the final suggestion there. However, I do have one tip for you to end this on since we talked a lot about first dances. The tip is practice the first dances, your first dance, in the shoes and clothes you'll be wearing to your best ability. So if you're hiding your outfit from your partner, obviously don't don't wear it, but you can wear something similar. Make sure you're able to do everything you're able to do, like the spins, dips, lifts, etc., in the shoes you want to do them in, and in the clothes you want to do them in because, as you know, formal attire like suit coats and dresses are usually quite more restrictive than normal everyday clothes. And so make sure you are able to do everything you want to do in the clothes you want to do them in. And I hope that's not super obvious tip. I live in the wedding world and I know that most couples I photograph are first time brides, first time grooms, and they don't really know this stuff beforehand. So I always like to share everything I know, hoping that it can help somebody. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you learned something that you can take and implement in your own wedding. And if you did, I would love if you'd click the follow button. That would mean the world to me, and it would also make sure that you don't miss out on future wedding tips just like this episode. So, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate your time. Now go hug your person, and I will see you next Wednesday.